Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, A Canada Nobody. I'm Teresa Degg. So, I've been looking some stuff up here, and I looked up the poverty rate in Canada, and we have, according to Statistics Canada, measured by the metrics such as the Market Basket Measure, MBM, which apparently is used to define the poverty line. The MBM considers the cost of a basket of goods and services representing the basic standard of living. And according to Statistics Canada, the poverty rate was at 10% in 2020. And we all know how the economy's been over the last 5 years. So, are we still there? I don't know. But at 10% of approximately 40 million, the population of Canada is 4 million. 4 million Canadians living in poverty. So, how can anyone in this country say that they stand on the side of a political party that will not cut foreign aid when they have 4 million people in their own country that live in poverty? And they know full well of this problem, or they wouldn't be out here saying of how important it was to give children a free meal at school. We know full well that these programs do not benefit the people in need. The system is always abused. We need an overhaul of the entire system. The Canada Child Benefit Program does not give a parent enough to feed their child. So a child cannot eat on $500 a month, but a senior can pay all their bills and eat and pay their medical bills on $1,200. Canada's not broken, just the system is. It's time to change. So why not change the ability to abuse the system? I mean, just look at the leaders that's running for office. They all know the truth. Look at their policies. I mean, a free meal for kids in school says the people cannot afford to feed their children. Free dental care for seniors says seniors cannot afford basic medical care. Climate change, or the Green Initiative, trying to convince people that riding a bicycle or wiping their ass on a snowball can change the weather. I do not understand how putting a tax on pollution or carbon and then taking that money and then giving it to people that can't afford to do anything green could possibly help lower emissions. I mean, if this were actually true, we wouldn't have went from 4 light bulbs for 99 cents to $26 for 3 LEDs that, want to burn your eyes out of their sockets. Or if it were actually true, we wouldn't have put a 100% tariff on cheap electric vehicles from another country. If it were actually true, Mark Carney, with his book on values, wouldn't be trying to run Canada. He would be in China or India trying to make a difference where the real emissions are. I mean, if it were actually true in today's economy, where you could only afford the cheapest thing on the shelf, wouldn't going green be cheaper? I mean, you can't make a real difference by boarding over one seat in a 2-seat outhouse. I mean, it always comes down to money. I mean, look at our property taxes. I'm sure you've all received yours by now. And now they want digital currency so they can get their cut on that used sofa that you sell on Marketplace. Or the Liberal government's plan to revoke the charitable status of the Canadian religious organizations. These policies and laws are created to further their agenda. Like, everyone has the right to choose, and everyone has the right to be heard. And now they want to limit free speech or take away our ability to see the truth from other places. I mean, I understand that Canada has always been liberal for the most part, except for when they screw up and the people vote the Conservatives in to punish them or get them back on track. But people always vote on what's most important to them at the time. And I believe this election is different. And I think you can see that by the number of people that are attending the rallies. I believe Canadians are just fed up. And I believe a lot of Canadians do want a change. But no matter who we are or what our beliefs are, we should have the freedom and the right to choose what we want to choose and what's most important to us. And I hear so many people say that they're only one person or that they won't make a difference or they don't matter because they're too small. And I tell you, if you believe that, try sleeping in a room with one mosquito. And that'll tell you how something so small can make such a huge difference. You know, we used to have parties in this country that had to work for votes and knock on people's doors and look them eye to eye and tell them what they stood for and you could hold them accountable and have a real conversation. But over the last 2 weeks, I've made hundreds of phone calls and I've left hundreds of messages. And to speak with some MPs and leaders at both federal and provincial levels. And I did receive some calls back, not from the leaders or MPs but from people that worked in their offices. And they asked me what I wanted. And I said, well, I left a message for a detailed message on who I wanted to speak with and what it was about. And they told me that it wasn't possible. And my question to them was, so we're good enough to take our money to pay them, and we're good enough to vote for them, but we're not good enough to have a conversation with? I mean, how is this even possible? I mean, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. But I have my own opinions, just like anyone else. But I've always been open for discussion and debate, and my mind can be changed on a lot of topics. But there's no way that I could be persuaded to touch a hot stove after I've been burnt by it once. But thank you all for listening to me rant again, and I'll see you next time.